They did over 50,000 lobotomies in the United States between the 40s and the 60s.
Yeah. Every so often, like, there's just a really obvious thing like that where like, no one's ever going to try to bring that back. Like, no one is going to, in modern day, be like, you know what?
Have you seen what Elon's up to? Have you seen what Elon's doing to those chimps?
RFK.
What's RFK up to?
He's not buying into your fake science. He likes the real stuff. He researched on his own.
The lobotomy science? Is he a lobotomy?
I'm making that up. No, he's not actually for lobotomy.
So RFK was confirmed to run. What's the department called, Woody?
Oh, shucks.
The Department of Family Voiced
Parent thing. Health.
Is it HHS? Is it Health and Human Services? It's
Health and Human Services.
Okay. Yeah. And one of the Republicans who didn't vote for him is Mitch McConnell, and I was like, hey, I wonder why. And they're like, oh, it's because Mitch McConnell had polio. And they told Trump that in the Oval Office. They're like, well, sir, he did have polio. And he's like, did he? And they're like, sir, are you doubting that Mitch McConnell really had polio? Well, no, I don't know about his polio, but he never votes for anything. You know, we need to get him out of there.
Dude, they do need to retire that guy. You can't just be having like semi-regular medical episodes on TV and be like, no, he's good.
I disagree.
You got to hold him to the Biden standard. Get him out of there.
The Biden standard is we keep him in there until his term runs out, and
then what should have
as a hero?
What should have been the Biden standard?
Okay, that's the Biden standard, and we're going to abide by it because that's what we do here. We're going to go by what was that bitch in California that they wheeled around and had her vote and shit?
Dianne
Feinstein, who was she might have actually been dead in that chair when they were rolling around doing those votes and stuff because she was out of it completely.
Yeah. She was like that level of old where it always looks like you closed your hand in a door 3 days ago.
I think we need someone like Mitch McConnell in there because he's old enough to have actually had polio. So when RFK is, I don't know about the polio vaccine, a lot of kids had it.
There's a lot of kids out there who didn't entirely need the polio vaccine.
Mr. McConnell can be like, I needed
it. Dude, he's so fun to do an impression.
I've tried it. I don't get it. I just do the same voice I do for Elden Ring lore. It doesn't really work out.
Dude, what if that's the voice you get from too much beef tallow?
This is the sword of 1,000 tears.
This isn't from not getting vaccines. It's from eating a lot of dirty pussy in the late 70s.
Yeah. Like, and I love that Cheryl is there. You know? I love that we got his wife there. Like I know y'all don't watch as much Curb as I do, but I see her. It's like that's the actress. That's Cheryl Hines from Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David's wife. She's a main character in this very liberal leaning show. I mean, they did a whole like Atlanta voting line episode on Curb, and there she is right next to RFK. So every time I see her in Congress or today it was either today or yesterday when he was getting sworn in and she's in the Oval with him. It's just such a weird juxtaposition for me. I'm like, God, that's right. She's actually his wife.
I wonder if she shares his politics.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, I was going to guess that she maybe did, but stayed quiet about it.
I think on the vaccine thing, there's probably a little... the vaccine thing's weird because there's an inkling to truth to some of the stuff they say, and they don't like some of the statistics they see, but it's about the overall good of the species, right? Like it's one of those things, and there's a lot of them in life where it's like seatbelts, right? Some people die because they had the seatbelt on. They would have lived had they not worn a seatbelt. Maybe it jams and they're trapped in the vehicle. Maybe the way that they were sitting, the seatbelt causes their neck to break when they would have just bounced around. It genuinely happens. People die because of their seatbelt when they otherwise would have lived. That doesn't mean we stop wearing seatbelts. It means we design a better seatbelt. You know what I mean? But we don't ever stop and take them off.
Like a racing
great analogy. I'm going to use that in my personal life.
I just made it up.
It's too late for me to use here and act like I'm the smart one. And that goose
top of my head there.
Top of my head. Just wheeling and dealing over here with his iced coffee, firing on all cylinders. Would you be fine with your car having a racing style seatbelt? If it was like,
my car does have a racing style.
10 times safer than the traditional.
I have a Hans device. I'm like Richard Petty in that bitch.
I don't know what Hans device is.
Hans device is that thing they introduced after Dale Earnhardt died. It keeps your neck locked in place. You would never have one in a passenger vehicle. You can barely turn your head to look. It was one of the main complaints from NASCAR.
I meant the ones that goes like
the 4-point shoulder. Is it 4 or 5 points, something like that?
It's a 5. Well, there's both. The 5th point is the one that goes from the floorboard between your legs, and not everybody has one. I had one in mine.
Yeah. What's the reason that we went? Is it just convenience that commercial seatbelts are just the one strap over here and not
So Volvo
Like,
Volvo invented the seatbelt, and they released the patent, I think, to the world for free, and still people wouldn't wear fucking seatbelts. There had to be a whole campaign to get people to start buckling up. Or it used to be just lap belts, but the shoulder belt's definitely better than a lap belt, and it's definitely a lap belt's better than nothing. But a 4-point would be better. A 5-point would be ideal. Like, there's no way it wouldn't be. There's a reason when you get in a race car, that none of them have nobody's buckling up like this when they hop in a race car. There's a reason for that. Yeah, it's better. Holds you in the seat tighter.
I wonder if fewer people are dying in crashes because, like, I'd like to see data on like morbid obesity's impact on survivability in high speed car crashes.
Not just that, but we only at the NTSB or what, National Highway Traffic Safety Association, NTSCA, whatever it is, they only use male-sized dummies to test crash test data. Like, everything is tuned for like a 5'10", 180-pound body. So if you're outside that,
is that still true?
I read up on it. Yeah.
Okay.
But
you've usually got your finger on the pulse of NHTSA degrees.
Highway Traffic Safety Association. Yeah, that's the data that you want to reel off the back of your head when you're trying to make somebody buy a Ford over a Volvo. Just as safe, I promise.
I could see a rationale, depending on the speed of the collision, for being a giant morbid obese person either contributing to your death or contributing to your life. Because if you're not plugged in,
you think a big marshmallow man will bounce.
If you're a big marshmallow man, but you're not, seat belted up, and you hit a high speed collision, all that mass and girth is going through the front windshield, and so I think you're going to fly even further. You're going to be
the other side of the argument. I don't
like a low speed, like side swiping. You have like, I imagine like a cushion of the pressure, like being dissipated across your girth instead of just going like if you're a skinny little woman and you get sideswiped, oh no, the whole body, oh, I'm broken, I'm crushed. If you're a big fat man, he's probably like, you get a deep, like an 8-inch deep bruise.
That's not my experience. Between paramotoring and dirt biking, I'm in hobbies where you'd be surprised people of all shapes and sizes like do it. Heavy people are always the ones getting injured. They don't bounce. They don't stand up again. Your skinny little athletic friends are made of rubber. I had a friend who went flying during a hurricane. It's hilarious. He's like, it's just starting to get fun around here. And then he falls 30 feet. Not even a sprained ankle, right? And then a fat guy like fails to launch and trips. Broke his wrist. Like, that's how it always goes.
That's fair. Like a fall from head height, I'm taking the skinny person, or like a trip.
They're also not
an athletic.
Here's the other thing. An obese person, it's not just that they don't do athletic things, it's that they never do athletic things. And so all of those tendons and joints and connective tissues that get, stress is what makes things get strong. Lifting weights makes your bones more dense. So a skinny, healthy, fit weightlifting guy, he's bendier in the right places and he's sturdier in the right places. He's just going to do better. A big old fatso is going to explode. He's just bone inside of a big ball of shit.
But that big ball of shit can offer a little protection, right?
But the ball of shit is you. It's the part that's eating the damage is still you. It's just a part of you that we don't like to look at. You know what I mean? Like,
but
my flab is destroyed.
Yeah, the flab is destroyed. Where as a fitter man, maybe his fucking lungs are destroyed because that bar punctures in all the way.
That's like saying if you tried to stab a fat guy, he's got 8 inches of protection.
It's true in a way.
Oh, well, maybe being fat is the way to go.
I do have one thing in my mind for
evolutionarily speaking.
Joe Lozon had a training partner who was heavy, right? He's not really heavy, not like, super, but he's a big guy. And Joe was trying to get him with liver shots or something. And I thought for sure Joe would get him. No, dude took whatever Joe Lozon could deal out. He held his arms up like this and just let Joe rock him to the midsection. He's perfectly fine. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, you could see. I bet you could see the ripples of the fat, and that's
energy distribution.
Yes, that's energy distribution. He pops some like fit guy right in the liver or the kidneys. That guy's going down.